Over a year ago, a beautiful woman of God spoke to some of us about how she was wearing the same dress for 6 months and how it was to raise awareness for human trafficking and simultaneously raise funds for an organization called the Daughter Project. This organization was based out of Ohio, and they work to house children that escape from the industry. I was shocked to find out that the organization was based in Ohio, but then I learned that human trafficking has actually been reported in all 50 U.S. states. There are more human slaves in the world today than ever before in history. When I realized the reality of the situation, I felt overwhelmed. I felt like there was nothing I could do to help, and I was right, but I was wrong. I couldn't do anything, but there was God, and He is able. He is able to do anything. And eventually He gave me the courage to start this journey. Today is the 157th day that I've worn the gray dress, and I have 44 days to go. Before I talk anymore, I like to clear a few things up. These are questions I get all the time. I wash the dress. I'm passionate, not disgusting. Also, I don't wear it to sleep or to work out. Who can jazzercise in a dress? Makes no sense. The last question I get is why the dress? Why the same dress for such a long time? The answer is that these women and children probably only have one dress. They wear it all the time. It's probably torn and worn down and stained, and they don't feel beautiful in it. Also, if you wear something for long enough, you feel like you're enslaved to it, enslaved by a piece of cloth. Now, let's be clear, it's nothing to complain about. The piece of cloth doesn't beat me, it doesn't rape me, and it doesn't starve me. But a pimp or a brothel owner, he'll do that to these women and children. He does this to God's children. It's really heartbreaking. Throughout the journey of the One Dress Project, I've learned a lot about myself and how I was made in God's image and how those qualities help to further His kingdom. I've always thought that I wasn't a very feminine woman. I felt like I had a lot of masculine traits, and that made me feel really lost in my purpose. My most used app on my phone is ESPN. I'm loud and blunt. I'm not soft-spoken at all. I also think that I'm not delicate or graceful. I've also always thought I'm not compassionate. Slowly God started opening my eyes to how good these things are. I'm blunt and honest. That's great because there's a need for blunt and honest people to challenge others. I need to be blunt to challenge myself daily. I'm loud. Perfect. Someone could hear me yell to tell them to stop. You're hearing what I'm saying right now. I can use my loud voice to speak for those who can't speak for themselves. I'm not delicate. That's great because that means I could probably face some persecution. Maybe I could even take a punch or two if I needed to. And I'm not compassionate. That's when I learned I was really wrong. It takes compassion to pray for someone. It takes compassion to fight for someone. And it takes compassion to get up out of my comfy chair of complacency and make myself uncomfortable to stand up to fight for comfort for someone else. I really found out that God wired me to reflect Him, and that all He needed me to do was realize this so that He could use these qualities to help His children in need. I challenge others to do the same. Look at the brokenness around you. Let it affect you and let it break your heart. I can tell you that it breaks the Lord's heart, so it's supposed to break ours. But then don't stop there. Take that broken heart and do something. Use your voice to speak for those who can't speak for themselves. Use the strength and power that you have been given to fight for those that don't have strength to fight for themselves. When we are open to it, our times, talents, and treasures can be used by the Lord to help His children in need. I'm not going to be bold and say that everyone will immediately grow a passion for human trafficking, but I will say this. We were meant to hate injustice, and in that we were meant to fight for justice. Micah 6:8 says, He has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. There are so many other verses that reveal God's heart about this issue. He makes it clear that He needs to use us to help His children. It's a command, and our Heavenly Father would never command anything of us that He wouldn't give us the power and the ability to do. I am not my own. I have a master. He is my Abba, my Daddy, my Heavenly Father, and He is good. He gives me the abundant life, and in Him I found joy, peace, grace, and a satisfaction that I was never able to find on my own. I've also found empowerment to fulfill His calls, including this one. This call to be radical, bold, and forward, to speak truth, to love others unconditionally, no matter how different they are from me or how far away they live. This call to seek justice for His children.